What is up, guys? Today we're gonna react to his story. Well, let me just subscribe to him real quick. You know I gotta subscribe to him. But today we're gonna watch his story. So if y'all don't know who his story, you might be living under a rock. This guy literally does the most famous stuff because it's just stories. Like, let's go to his most popular one. His most popular one was 78 million views. Alright, so we're gonna save the best for last. Let's get right into it.
I cracked my knuckles while loading up my League of Legends game. I only had 10 minutes until my
Alright, what are we doing?
time, and was only one win away from hitting diamond, so I wasn't letting anything stop me. I typed in my login faster than ever, then the two-factor authentication code, and when the terms and conditions box showed up, I quickly hit accept and
Yo, what are we talking
leaned in to get ready to destroy some 12-year-olds. But suddenly, 3 men stormed in wearing black suits and dark sunglasses out of nowhere. But the game was about to start, so I was determined to keep my eyes on the screen. But one of them unplugged my monitor, so I was forced to stand up and find out what was going on. What the hell? Who are you? Another started wrapping up my wires without saying anything. I immediately turned around and saw my little brother standing in the corner, smiling. I knew he had something to do with this, so I stormed over and grabbed him by the collar. What did you do? He crossed his arms. You're the one who clicked accept. I had no idea what he was talking about, but then he walked me back to the chair, shoved me his phone, and showed me what I had agreed.
By clicking accept, you gave your gaming setup to your little brother 80. No.
One line was highlighted. By clicking accept, you give your entire... I cracked my knuckles while loading up my League. There was no way this was real. You're 10. You can't own my stuff. My wires without saying anything. I immediately turned around and saw my little brother standing in the corner, smiling. I knew he had something to do with this, so I stormed over and grabbed him by the collar. What did you do? He crossed his arms. You're the one who clicked accept. I had no idea what he was talking about, but then he walked me back to the chair, shoved me his phone, and showed me what I had agreed to. One line was highlighted. By clicking accept, you give your entire gaming setup to your little brother Eli. I laughed, because there was no way this was real. You're 10. You can't own my stuff. He put his hand on his hip and showed me a photo of his empty piggy bank. I know you stole money from my birthday money to pay for all of this, and I just got it back. Behind me, the last guy gripped my chair and pulled it out from under me. I hit the floor. I got up and followed Eli across the hall. My whole setup was glowing in Eli's room. My game was still on the screen. The one win away from Diamond 1 never got to play, and Eli was already in the chair. He loaded into my game, and he played it like it was nothing. One team fight, an ace, and victory filled the screen. Diamond. Eli leaned back in my chair and finally looked over at me. Thought you were gonna destroy some 12-year-olds? Well, you just got destroyed by a 10-year-old. And as I stood there watching myself getting defeated by my little brother who robbed me blind, some part of me couldn't help but feel impressed. I cracked my... Logan slammed $1,000 on our dorm table. Tomorrow, we're all going to the airport with no money, and the one who can get to the furthest country wins. It's a college competition. I immediately signed the sign-up sheet because my mom had never left the state before, and this was my chance to make her dream of going to Disneyland come true. I clicked the pen and grinned. May the best man win. The next morning, all 5 of us walked into LAX with empty wallets, and Logan lifted up 3 fingers. We start in 3, 2, 1. I sprinted for the airline counters with money on my mind. Please, I need a free flight to win a competition for my mom. You got me, right? The agent laughed at me. Right, and I'm looking for free Jordans because I don't want to pay for new shoes. You got me, right? He was making fun of me, so I frantically searched the airport because I knew I needed a new strategy. A woman 2 seats down propped her giant suitcase against the charging station and answered her phone. Yeah, Mom, I land in Dublin tonight. Love you. My entire face lit up because I knew Dublin was a city in Ireland, and it was 5,000 miles away. She headed for the bathroom without her suitcase, so I dumped her clothes into my backpack, folded myself inside, and pulled the zipper shut with my teeth. 10 minutes later, I was swinging through the terminal, slamming into every doorframe in California while I was curled up like a pretzel until someone grunted and rammed me into an overhead bin with my knees in my eye sockets. By the time I climbed in, the group chat was already flexing. Logan posted a selfie from a party bus to Mexico, and I grinned because I thought I was going to beat him. The engines roared, the bin rattled, and I fell asleep picturing my mom standing outside the Disney castle holding a giant cotton candy. A loud thud woke me up, and I was was certain 16 hours had passed, and I was on a whole new continent. The second the bin clicked open, I exploded out with both fists in the air and screamed, "I won!" A flight attendant dropped her clipboard, and the suitcase woman screamed louder than I did. Then the pilot's voice came through the speakers. "Welcome to Dublin, one of the most beautiful cities in California, folks. Flight time today was 45 minutes. My face fell because I thought we were going to Europe, but we hadn't even left the state. When security grabbed me to walk me out, I made a request. If you guys arrest me, can you at least put me in a jail in Argentina so I can win my competition?" Logan slammed
Yo,
a-
what the
Hey, sweetheart, you ready to go to the game?
Yo, what in the...
My Uncle Tom's face scrunched up when I asked for a water break 2 hours into photographing my cousin's 7th birthday party, dizzy and dehydrated under the sun. "I'm not paying you $20 to drink water. The party's only 4 hours. He grabbed my cake plate out of my hand later that afternoon. "You can eat after the job's done." I stood there swaying slightly while he checked his watch, and my hands were still shaking from hunger by the time he pulled up his phone at the end of the party to show me a fitness influencer. "I need these photos edited. Make my wife look like this." I nodded, thinking I could survive one more week of him before I never had to work for family again. I sent him 20 cleaned up photos that week. "That's no good," he texted back within the hour. "Make my wife
Like, you
skinnier,
can
give
do
her
any
more
better.
curves, wider hips,
Like,
smaller
bro.
waist, make my arms more muscular, and remove my brother's Rolex from the picture. Make sure I'm the best looking guy in every shot." I stared at my phone, stunned. "This will take weeks," I typed back. "Then work faster. I need these by tomorrow." I really needed the money for college, so I spent all night hunched over my laptop, frantically editing the photos. Then one more text lit up my screen. "Oh yeah, make me the tallest person in every group shot." Something in me finally snapped clean in half. I called an emergency family meeting the next day and connected my laptop to the TV. "I'm done with Uncle Tom's BS, and before anyone judges me, let me show you why." I pulled up his texts and the before and after photos, which included edits of him stretched taller than his own brother, his arms bulked up, and his wife's body reshaped into something she'd never recognize. My aunt stood up slowly, staring at the screen with her hand over her mouth. "That looks nothing like me. Were you lying when you said I was perfect just the way I was?" Uncle Tom shot to his feet and pointed at me. "You had no right to show those messages," I laughed, "and you had no right to treat me like garbage for 20 measly dollars." That same night, my aunt grabbed his phone off the counter and found him setting up dating profiles using the edited photos he'd demanded. Every screenshot became evidence in her divorce filing 3 weeks later. My uncle I was doing laundry late at night when I opened the dryer and found a huge duffel bag stuffed inside. My balls dropped, and I was too scared to touch it, so I tried another machine, but everyone had an out-of-order sign. When I bent to move the bag, it was so heavy my arms shook, and the second I dropped it, it fell open. My heart shattered. A big pit bull was crammed inside, covered in bruises and deep scars. I've had dogs my whole life, so I knew these weren't an accident. Anger filled my body as I swore to find out who did this. I took the pit bull home, cleaned his wounds, and fed him until he stopped shaking. By morning, he was curled against me, the sweetest boy, and it only made me angrier. The next night, I brought him along and parked across from the laundromat, waiting to see if they'd come back. And around midnight, a truck pulled up, and a man hauled a squirming duffel bag inside. Another dog. The second he drove off, I ran in, pulled the trembling dog from the dryer, set him in my car, and sped after the truck. It led me down a dirt road to a rundown farmhouse, and what I saw made my stomach drop. I peeked in and saw dozens of dogs, chained and caged, scarred just like mine, around a ring. My hands shook as I started recording and called the police, whispering the address, but a floorboard creaked behind me. "You lost, bruh?" He was smiling, and he'd caught the whole thing. "Snitches don't leave here." He whistled, and every dog in that yard charged straight at me. I braced myself as the pack charged, certain it was over. But out of nowhere, my two dogs shot in front of me and stood their ground, growling at the others. The attacking dogs skidded to a halt, thrown off. Then I heard it, whimpering behind me, cage after cage of trapped dogs. I spun around and ripped the doors open one by one. "What are you doing?" the man screamed, kicking his boot into a dog to scare the rest. "Attack him, stupid!" But that was the worst thing he could have done. Every dog froze, then slowly turned on him, their teeth bared, the same rage in their eyes he'd beaten into them. They lunged, but I couldn't let them become the monster he'd made them. "Hey," I said softly, "we don't do that anymore. It's okay." Then the cops flooded in, slamming him to the ground. The dogs wagged their tails, no longer weapons, just dogs. I was doing laundry late at night when I opened...
Oh my god.
I was closing our McDonald's when a guy built like a delivery truck started pounding on the glass. I cracked the door to say, "We're closed, buddy. Come back tomorrow." But he walked straight through me into the lobby and yelled his order at the empty store. "Get me 10 burgers, 7 fries, and 5 Coke Zero." I tried pushing him back out. "Buddy, the grill is turned off. Come back tomorrow." But he pushed me back and I went flying over the counter. Then he grabbed the counter with both hands and something metal on his wrist clacked against it. "You don't understand. I will die without my burgers." My limbs trembled and I backed toward the kitchen. kitchen, but he followed me and yelled his order again. 10 burgers, 7 fries, 5 Coke Zero. But then my manager stepped out from behind the grill. He was part-time Mr. Olympia and a full head bigger than the guy. He walked up until they were chest to chest and glared at the customer. "We're closed. Get out or I'll throw you out." But the guy didn't move. "My burgers. Give me my burgers or I'll die." My manager backed him all the way into the glass and he was still begging for the food. And that's when I noticed he was sweating through his shirt in a cold lobby. His hands shook so hard the metal band on his wrist rattled against the glass. So I thought to myself, nobody begs for food like this unless something's truly wrong. That's when the big guy took 3 huge breaths and just dropped. He slammed onto the floor and cracked our tiles and our manager gasped. I ran over and knelt down to check on him and I finally noticed what was on his wrist. It was a medical bracelet with the words, "Need daily burgers. Feed me if I pass out." I couldn't believe his words about dying if he didn't get his burgers were actually true. So I grabbed a half-eaten burger from a nearby table and shoved it down his mouth. Then I opened my phone and dialed 911 while my manager fired up the grill behind me and started making those 10 burgers, 7 fries, and 5 Coke Zero. I was closing our McDonald's when a kid from school dumped maple syrup over.
Guys, I have to pause it. Just why? Did he really crack your tires, or are you just being dramatic? That it sound like a crack, dude. Oh
Good news. A kid from school dumped maple syrup over my Canadian jersey. "That's what you get, maple syrup boy." The entire street turned to laugh, and I buried my head in my hands because I couldn't take being bullied for being Canadian anymore. I grabbed the 4th of July festival poster from the lamppost. "Person with the most American spirit wins." I knew I had to win. That night, I ordered the 20-piece chicken nugget meal with a large milkshake to prepare to be as American as possible. I'd start every morning with a big gulp from 7-Eleven, and every evening I'd force myself to turn off the hockey game and watch football instead. But when I woke up on competition day, part of me knew it still wasn't enough to win. I threw on my flag shirt, grabbed a Dunkin' for the road, and drove off with no plan. But halfway there, something huge on a fence post made me slam the brakes. It was a bald eagle, staring at me like I owed it money. "You're not from here, maple syrup boy," I gasped, because I didn't know America had talking eagles. "What the?" The bald eagle stretched a wing toward its back. "Yes, this isn't Canada anymore. Unlike your ugly mooses, us eagles can actually speak. Hop on." I climbed on, and we shot into the sky. When we came down over the festival, and the eagle dropped me on stage. The mayor didn't even take a vote.
Guys.
"You win! Of course you win!" The whole town screamed so loud I felt it in my chest, and my neighbor was chanting my name instead of maple syrup boy. So I threw my arms up and screamed the most American thing I could think of. USA! A kid from school dumped.
Good news, the admin treadmill.
My dad walked into my room while I was mid-build in Minecraft and unplugged my computer. He showed me a text from my shop teacher saying I was failing. "You can't even pass the one class where you build things with your hands. No more computer until your grade comes up." When my history teacher assigned a project to build a 3D model of a famous landmark, my dad lit up. "Good. It's about time you put your hands on something real. You better come home with an A." He dropped me off at my partner's house that first night and watched me walk in, carrying a bag of cardboard and glue sticks. His mom met us at the door and said, "Table's cleared off. Get to work." My dad saw us sit down through the window and drove away smiling. We tried. My friend glued his fingers together twice, and our Colosseum looked like a shoebox someone stepped on. His mom went upstairs, and my friend looked at me and said, "Just build it in Minecraft." Within an hour, we had columns, arches, and an arena floor with tiered seating. We threw the cardboard in the trash that night. Every night after that, we went straight to the laptop. My dad would ask how it was going, and I'd tell him we were making real progress. He'd squeeze my shoulder and say, "That's my boy." One night, my friend's mom came outside and told him, "Your son won't stop until it's perfect. He's been pushing my boy the whole time." She wasn't wrong. She just didn't know what we were building. A few days before the deadline, my dad found the extra supplies he'd bought sitting untouched in my room. He thought I'd forgotten them. He drove to my friend's house and walked in carrying the bag with a smile on his face. We were on the couch with the laptop between us. No cardboard, no glue, no model, just Minecraft. His smile dropped. He looked at the screen, then at the bag in his hands. "I've been telling everyone how hard you've been working." He set the bag down. I don't know why I expected anything different. He didn't talk to me for the rest of the week. When presentation day rolled around, I walked into class with the laptop in my hands. My teacher stood at the front and announced, "All of your parents were invited to watch your presentations." I looked at the back row and saw my dad sitting with his arms crossed. I let out a deep breath. My friend and I walked to the front and I turned the screen around. We built an exact replica of the Colosseum block by block. Every arch, every column, every seat in the arena. The room went quiet. My teacher looked at the screen for a long time and said, "This is the most creative project I've seen in years." She gave us an A. That night, my dad walked into my room and plugged the computer back in. He stood in the doorway for a second. "I'm sorry I doubted you. That's my boy." My dad walked into my room while I was...
Last and final video. the video we all been waiting for. This one.
My twin brother Chris and I were 9 when we learned Morse code. We tapped messages under the dinner table when Mom told us to stop talking and tapped through the wall between our bedrooms every night. When Chris got into a car accident and the doctor said he'd never wake up, I pulled up a chair next to his bed, took his hand, and tapped. Are you there? Nothing. But I came back the next afternoon and tapped again. Before I left, I always said the same thing. See you tomorrow, Chris. A week later, Chris's fingers twitched against mine, and I almost fell out of my chair. I grabbed a nurse and she barely looked up. They're reflexes. It doesn't mean anything. I bought a notebook the next day and started writing down every single one. 4 months in, Mom watched me scribbling and said, "How long are you gonna keep doing this? Until he taps back." He's not gonna tap back. You're talking to a corpse. Dad lasted a few more months before he pulled me into the hallway. We need to talk about donating your brother's organs. His fingers move every time I hold his hand, Dad. The nurses said those are reflexes. Stop getting your hopes up, son. I don't care what the nurses say. You're not donating my brother's organs. But a week later, my parents called to have Chris transferred to a long-term facility to die and scheduled a meeting to sign the papers. The afternoon before the meeting, I tapped into his palm like always, but this time, something tapped back. Short, short, short. Long, long, long. Short, short, short. SOS. I grabbed his hand. Chris, if that's you, squeeze once. He squeezed so hard my knuckles cracked. I stormed into the meeting room and told them my brother just responded to me. The caseworker said, "This is very common with families who aren't ready to let go." My parents nodded. I grabbed the transfer papers off the table. "You're not signing anything until you come see for yourself." I walked them to Chris's bed and grabbed his hand. "Ask him anything." The caseworker asked what year it was. Chris squeezed out the answer. Count to 5. 5 perfect squeezes. His mother's name, tapped out letter by letter. By the 10th question, she said, "He's still alive. We can't move him." Weeks later, I asked Chris what kept him fighting when everyone gave up. Heard Mom call me a corpse. Heard Dad say donate my organs. Heard all of them leave, except you. I asked why. I wanted to see you too. My twin...
Alright, guys. That's gonna be the end. I had a great time watching his story. Go watch him. He's a literally good, really, really good YouTuber. I feel like that if he made his videos longer, I feel like they would get better. But hey, I'm not the one who's had 5 million subs. So go watch him. He's a literally. Alright, I'm just gonna end it. MJ is out. Peace.